Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping straight into the 16th century grandeur of Bijapur, or modern-day Vijayapura, to explore a really fascinating intersection. We're going to look at the majestic architectural heritage of the Gagan Mahal, and then we're going to contrast it with its modern reality as a functioning urban space. It is a brilliant case study in how ancient monuments survive, adapt, and, well, sometimes really struggle in the heart of a bustling modern city.
Right, let's dive into this by visualizing a massive, towering central arch. Picture it reaching an incredible 66 feet into the air. To put that into perspective, that is roughly the height of a modern 6-story building, or like stacking 3 double-decker buses right on top each other. And it is completely open, without a single pillar to obstruct the view.
And this brilliant image really illustrates the sheer human scale of that architecture. Just look at how tiny the visitors standing down below appear. This is literally the largest arch in all of Bijapur, framing what remains of the magnificent Gagan Mahal. You know, it was designed to be imposing, to be this grand stage, and even in ruins today, it absolutely commands your attention.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, the majestic Sky Palace, then the fall of the Auto Shahis. Third, Gagan Mahal as open space. Fourth, analyzing precinct accessibility data. And finally, a vision for the future.
Section 1. The Majestic Sky Palace.
So built way back in 1561 by Sultan Ali Adil Shah I of the Adil Shahi dynasty, the Gagan Mahal translates beautifully to the Sky Palace or the Heavenly Palace, and honestly, it is an incredibly apt name. After the disintegration of the Vijayanagar kingdom, a ton of highly skilled artisans actually migrated to Bijapur, and their expertise contributed to this marvel of Indo-Islamic architecture. The whole structure was specifically designed to provide completely unobstructed views for the royal court, creating the seamless connection between the ruler inside and the massive courtyard outside.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The palace actually served a dual purpose, blending the deeply public with the strictly private. The ground floor was this massive durbar hall. Think of it as a huge audience chamber where the Sultan and his ministers could sit and have a totally uninterrupted view of wrestling matches, music performances, and royal gatherings happening outside. Meanwhile, the upper floor, that was the private VIP residence for the royal family. It featured these beautiful wooden balconies and painted windows, which allowed the royal ladies to safely and privately observe all that vibrant court life down below. It was just a masterpiece of functional elegance.
Section 2. Fall of the Adil Shahis.
This timeline traces the palace through its absolute most pivotal moments, starting out with its construction in 1561, then moving into the late 1500s, where the formidable Queen Chand Bibi literally ran the entire kingdom of Bijapur from this very palace. But the most dramatic moment? That comes at the end of the timeline in 1686. This was the exact site where the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb sat upon the throne at Gagan Mahal, while the last ruler of the Adil Shahi dynasty, Sikandar, was brought before him in silver chains. He surrendered right in this hall. It signaled the definitive end of an independent era.
Section 3. Gagan Mahal as open space.
Fast forward to today. The heavy wooden ceilings are gone, the walls are mostly broken, and the building doesn't have a roof anymore. But the ruins stand in a very neat, grassy area maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India. And right beside it, as you can see on the map, lies a massive historic water moat that originally surrounded the citadel.
So today, these roofless walls function as an urban open space, or UOS. This isn't just a dead, forgotten monument. It acts as a community garden and a vital, breathing lung space for the citizens of Vijayapura to kind of just escape the pollution and noise of the city. However, and this is a big however, as is the case with so many ancient sites swallowed up by growing cities, it is deeply struggling with modern urbanization issues, general neglect, and a serious lack of proper facilities.
Section 4. Analyzing precinct accessibility data.
To understand who actually uses this historic park today, researchers went out and surveyed 93 random visitors. And the demographics are super revealing. There's a heavy skew towards older males. Only 32% of the visitors were female. And a lot of women actually cited domestic responsibilities as a deterrent to visiting this urban open space. So right out of the gate, we see that the space isn't perfectly inclusive.
But the real red flags pop up when we look at infrastructure. The data shows a pretty stark reality. 73% of these visitors noted poor accessibility to the site itself. They specifically pointed out the lack of entry points from the north and west directions. I mean, if you want people to use a public space, they have to actually be able to get inside without going completely out of their way, right?
It gets even more concerning when we talk about amenities. This chart shows a massive 85% of respondents complaining about the complete lack of basic amenities, like public toilets. And in a cruel twist of irony for a site sitting right next to a giant water moat, only 15% of visitors noted that drinking water was provided at all.
Speaking of that massive historic water moat, 94% of the people surveyed want physical and visual access to it. They want to stroll by the water, maybe do some boating or fishing, just really appreciate the history of the place. But they are entirely blocked off by a 10-foot-high dividing wall. So the water is literally right there, but the public is completely shut out from enjoying it.
And beyond the general public, local researchers emphasize a really critical failing. The lack of ramps, smooth pathways, and proper signage severely impedes mobility for disabled individuals and the elderly. Urban design researcher Mansur Ali Mullah really hits the nail on the head here. Without these investments, this public space remains frustratingly exclusive. A space simply cannot truly serve the public if it excludes those who need physical accommodations the most.
Section 5. A Vision for the Future. Okay, instead of ending on the challenges of poor maintenance and crumbling infrastructure, let's look at the actionable solutions the researchers proposed. To fix these issues, they suggest aligning the site's management directly with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 11. SDG 11 is all about making cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. It provides a perfect framework to balance the strict preservation of a 16th-century heritage site with the very real, very modern need for urban livability and community well-being. By implementing clear, data-driven directives, the municipal authorities can completely transform this site. We're talking about basic but highly impactful upgrades, adding ramps for disabled access, opening up that dividing wall for tourism and boating, installing essential public restrooms and water fountains, and creating a systematic, regular maintenance schedule. These steps don't ruin the history, they actually ensure it remains accessible and relevant for everyone today.
Ultimately, the story of the Sky Palace is a perfect reflection of our modern cities. We started with an exclusive royal residence where an empire quite literally fell, and today we have a grassy park where citizens just want a smooth walking path and a drink of water. It leaves us with a pretty profound question to take away. How can we actively steward the magnificent echoes of our past while truly serving the inclusive needs of our communities today? Think about the historic spaces in your city and ask yourself who they are really built for. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.